What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I am super excited to announce that we are back to the Jeep content. We're actually doing something with it. It's been sitting for months. I have the trailer behind me with the Dana 44 out of the blue Jeep, the parts Jeep. I don't know if you remember that. I got rid of that Jeep when we moved to the new location, but I actually did cut out the front axle before they took it. And I didn't scrap it. Someone actually took it to use the cabin bed for. But you know that we swapped the rear axle. Well, I needed the front axle from that because they had a different gear ratio, whatever. So I'm kind of cheating on this one, and I'm taking the axle to a guy a couple towns over who's going to go through it, rebuild it, new seals, check all the differential out, everything like that. And then once he's done with it, we'll pick it up and we'll actually swap it in the Jeep and do the front brakes on that thing and see if we can actually take it down the road with brakes and everything like that. So I might, before I get there, I might show you guys the axle now so you can see the condition it's in, but I might just drop it off. We'll see. We're about a block from the shop, so I wanted to go ahead and stop and show you guys the axle real quick. Leaking from everywhere. Dana 44 HD from 1963. Very rusty, sat underground for like forever in the junkyard because the truck was pretty much framed in the mud. But yeah, there she is, and hopefully it comes back a lot better than it is now. Alright guys, so things did not go to plan. This is the Dana 44 that you just previously saw on my trailer as I was dropping it off to get rebuilt. Well, as you can see, the lockout hubs are off, and yeah, he tried to take this thing apart to rebuild it for me, and the axle nuts are basically destroyed, like cross-threaded and like welded on. This thing's ruined. And also, it's just like I showed you before, it's like really bad, kind of, and it's not in good shape. So I don't know what to do. I didn't know what to do because I have the gear ratio that matches this one in the rear of the Jeep now, and yeah, I couldn't think what to do. And I'm like, this thing is not, it's not getting like 1 tons. That was like not the plan. I just tried to get this thing rolling and on the road and good to go. So what I'm gonna do, and don't be mad at me because the axle is junk, I am going to cut the axle tubes and cut the actual carrier differential out of it. And then, the Jeep's inside, you don't need to see it. The Jeep has this exact axle, the Dana 44 closed knuckle in the front of it now. We're gonna pull the axle from the Jeep. We're gonna take the gears from this, and he is going to put these gears into that axle and rebuild, reseal, bearings, brakes, all that, and the rest of that axle, because it is in way better shape. That never occurred to me that I could do that. I didn't think about it. So what I'm doing right now, I'm going to drain the differential on this and get all the oil out of it. And then, like I said, we are going to cut here and cut here, slide the axle shaft out of it, and then just take him the pumpkin. And yeah, I don't know how I'm going to cut through this. I got the old $20 Sawzall blade and some grinding wheels. I don't have a torch. So that's the move. We're going to cut this thing up, and then we're going to put it in the other axle. Like I said, don't be mad at me. The axle, I swear it's junk. I can't save it. There's no way. He spent 2 hours, and then I spent some time trying to get the axle nut off. And if I use a torch, I'm just going to ruin it worse. So the thing, I can't save it. So that's the plan, to get a good axle in the front of the Jeep. So I'm going to knock out this work and then take him back an hour away to him and get this taken care of. See what I'm saying? Right there, prime example. This thing was literally underground when we drug that Jeep out, and the rust got to it so bad. That probably is also affecting not taking any part. I don't even know if I can get the cover off this thing. We'll see. Well, I actually got all the bolts out, so let's see what kind of shape the fluid's in this thing, and hope it's a good differential stuff. Oh, water. And sludge. Oh man, that's a lot of water. This is nasty. Oh jeez. Okay, I'm glad you guys don't have to smell this right now. Let me get this cover off and see what it looks like in there, and then let's cut this thing apart. If it's too bad, I guess I just won't even do that. Oh my god, there's water. There's so much water. Oh, sludge just rolling out. Well, the Jeep hasn't been on the road since 84, or wasn't on the road since 84. So I'm sure that wasn't changed since probably 63, the year it left the factory. All right, I'm gonna get back to it. All right, so I can't catch a brake at all. So their gears look great. The 3 of these bolts, look at them. The ones that were out of the oil. I don't know if those are gonna come out, so I'm gonna send them to the guy before I waste a trip. But either way, now the axle's really junk, so I'm going to go ahead and cut these tubes and get this carrier separated. Because either way, it's no harm in it now. That just sucks, but I think they'll be able to come out. I don't know, we'll see. All right, so that's done. That's interesting to see laying here. And then we got the rest of the parts over in the scrap pile. But that's what a Dana 44 closed knuckle looks like in 3 pieces. So I'll get this on the trailer, and then let's get the 44 out of the actual Jeep, which is probably gonna be even more fun than this. Well, I got tearing into this pretty good, so before I get any further, I want to show you guys where I'm at. I got the shocks, brake lines disconnected, actually unthreaded, believe it or not. Tie rod off. So really all that's left on this side is go ahead and I'm just gonna cut these U-bolts, obviously, because if you haven't noticed, what you're looking at right now is a straight up homemade lift kit. And I want to show you because of how much of a death trap this was. So it's 2x2 steel tubes just welded together, and then I don't know what the U-bolts are bent. I don't know if they're bent from driving on it. And then this, I mean, they almost did a good job. I think this is where the original, I don't know, I don't have another one of these to look at anymore. I think this is where the original shock mounted, and this is through bolted, and then the shock mounts. But I think their plan was to go through here, through here, and the shock was mounted. I'll show you on the other side how it is. So it's like that. Okay, they didn't have it on the side. So yeah, that's through bolted through the shock mount. So they dropped their shocks and then made I mean, they didn't do a bad job. Yeah, it's a death trap, but hey, I mean, they did a death trap correctly. They lowered their shocks. So I'm gonna get the other side to match this, and then I'm gonna go ahead and just slice those U-bolts off, because sadly, I'm not gonna put those blocks back in there. So the thing's gonna be way lower and way more boring. But we'll figure that out. Maybe I can get a lift kit. They don't make them for this, so we'll see how much money I want to spend. And then let's get this thing out of here and out of the way. All right, both sides are totally disconnected. That brake line had to be cut, so that one's got to be redone now, which is just great. So I'm just gonna cut these U-bolts right in the middle, jack it up a little bit, let this thing fall, and get it out of here. But hovercraft mode, definitely engaged. All right, both U-bolts are cut, so let's try to drop this thing out of its home for the past really long time with as much carefulness as possible. Do you guys know why it's not dropping? Because I don't. Is it welded on? I'll freak out. I wouldn't put it past them. Oh, are you kidding me? All right, let me get back to you guys in a minute. So it wasn't welded on, it was just stuck. This is a DIY pull axle by yourself. You got 2 jacks. Okay, we got it. Voila. You don't need more than 1 guide pull axle. Okay, so with everything out, this obviously sits there, and I removed the death trap that we were all talking about. It is 2, yep, they are stick welded together. So that is definitely homemade. So let me knock off the other side while I'm recording. Let me show you. Okay. So they used a nut and bolt as a pin, which kind of smart. And then what else is kind of smart is, this is too dark on this side. Back to the other side. So this is where the factory shock mounts, right? They through bolted this to lower the shock, which is kind of genius, but it was also rubbing on the leaf spring. So yeah, what I thought was like a crazy triple shock mount, like from the 80s, which would be kind of sick, was just them doing that. So it worked, but someone's lucky they didn't die. All right, it's completely stripped. It's down to literally leaf springs in the front, and I don't know what we're gonna do from here. So now the Jeep does not have a lift kit on it anymore. It's safer, it's gonna be correct, but it's not gonna look cool at all. It's gonna look cool. It looks cool, but it's gonna, I can fit these wheels on it. I know I can't fit the pit bulls because they're like 12 inches wide, 15 inches wide. So I just looked at BJ's and the one lift kit. So this is obviously 63 to 74, I believe. The leaf springs are mounted on the side of the frame, not under it, like 74 and up. So these trucks are way, way harder to lift, and it's not economically friendly. And if this was like I'm just gonna stop talking. The lift kit for this from BJ's Off-Road to lift it 4 inches, which is exactly where it is, for 4 leaf springs, 4 shocks, and a drop pitman arm, is $2,400. Look at this thing. You think I can afford a $2,400 lift kit for this? Really? I'm 23. So I don't know what the move is. I'm gonna call them and see if there's any chance they would just sell the front springs out of that kit and a drop pitman arm. I doubt they will, because the rear, it's a truck. The rear can be lifted with blocks. That's fine. It's just the front, it's the big deal. So I'm gonna see that, and if not, I'm gonna call some spring shops and see if they can maybe re-arch these springs, or if I can get some custom leaf springs made, because these aren't, I mean, they're fine. I don't think there's any cracked. I should probably look closer before I say that, but yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna see if there's any way we can lift this truck back up. I wanted to go higher, but you can't. So the 4-inch, it looked good before, so if I could just get it back on a 4-inch lift, done correctly and safely, that'll be great. So I will make some phone calls, and I'll tell you guys in the next video how that comes out. The axle is clearly out. I put back the wheels back on so we can roll it in. This one is in way better shape than the one from the parts truck was. So it should be good to go. We're gonna put those gears in it, and he's going to rebuild the ends, everything, brakes and all. He's gonna give it back to me with literally brake hoses to hook up. So that'll be sweet. The front end will be taken care of. I did the rear end, greased the bearings, new fluid, and brakes, all that's done in the rear. So this will at least get this Jeep rolling and stopping good, right? It'll be done with it. It's gonna be over and done. We're gonna paint this once it's back from getting rebuilt, and it's gonna be sitting just like this. I'm gonna paint it. And then also I literally have been excited for this since before I even owned this thing. The frame on this is super, super clean. And by clean, I mean, it's been in Illinois its whole life from what I think. So from clean, I mean like a wire brush, it's smooth metal again. So, I mean, I kind of brushed right here. It's super, super clean. It's just like flaky. It's in really good shape. So I have paint, some chassis paint. I like this brush paint stuff. So we're going to, with the axle, I can get both sides of the frame up front. I'm gonna go to like here and clean all this up, paint it. I'm gonna paint the wheel well black again and leave all the patina. So underneath, you just look on this thing, you're like, wow, it was done right. It's all clean, painted up nice. And then we'll see if what we can do with the leaf springs. I'm not gonna mess with them yet. I know clearly we're like, it runs and it will move and stop after this, but while the axle's out, why not paint it and get it done with? And then I'll stop right here and go ahead, and once the truck's done, we'll paint the rest of the frame. But why it's out, why not? So, all right, I'll quit rambling. The axle's out, drop it off. Today's Wednesday, I'll drop it off Friday. Hopefully he knocks that out pretty quick. And I figure out a leaf spring idea, but yeah, next video on this, we're gonna put the rebuilt axle in and maybe a lift kit. I don't know, I'll try. I'll see what I can do. So stay tuned for that. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned to get that axle back in. There's a lot more content coming on this once that's done. So yeah, thank you for watching. Please consider liking and subscribing. Thank you, have a great day.